Good evening and welcome to tonight's Fort Wayne Community School Board of School Trustees meeting. We begin this meeting as we do each meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I need to do roll call first. Ann? Sure. Okay. And now we have roll call of members.
Good evening, Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Antoinette Payne, 4th District.
Noah Smith, 3rd District.
Ann Duff, member at large.
And to my left, we have Dr. Mark Daniel, Superintendent, Fort Wayne Community Schools, and Angie Filler, Clerk of the Board, and I'm Maria Norman, Member at Large. This evening, we start with the oath of office as we welcome our new board member.
Antoinette. Stand.
Could you please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me? I solemnly swear or affirm
I solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the laws of the United States and the State of Indiana.
and the laws of the United States and the State of Indiana.
I will faithfully execute the duties of my office
I will faithfully execute the duties of my office
as a member of this governing body, so help me God.
as a member of this governing body, so help me God.
This completes the oath. Welcome to Fort Wayne Community Schools Board of Trustees.
All right. Yes, congratulations and welcome. And now with Raleigh's resignation, we now have the vice president position open. Are there any nominations for vice president?
I'd like to nominate Noah Smith.
Thank you.
I'll second. Does it need a second?
Yeah. Thanks, Ann. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now with Noah being the vice president, we now have a secretary position open. Are there any nominations for secretary?
I nominate Jennifer Mathias.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Then we have the official duty, me as president.
Oh, thank you.
Let me give you your nameplate. All right. Fabulous. Congratulations to everybody. Okay. And that leads us to our consent agenda, which includes approval of the minutes from the regular meeting on June 10th and the special meeting on June 17th, vouchers and payroll, the personnel report, and required disclosures. Is there a motion on the floor?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks, Ann. Dr. Daniel, did you have any after?
After, please.
Okay. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay. All right. Dr. Daniel?
So we have 3 administrative changes, and I'd like to recognize those this evening. First of all, Justin Horing. Are you here, Justin? If you'd please rise. So Blackhawk Middle School principal. Justin joined FWCS in 2012 as an English language arts teacher at Blackhawk Middle School. In 2018, he became the K-12 English language arts curriculum coordinator. He then left the district to become an assistant principal. I won't say where, but we're glad he returned. And same position at Shawnee Middle School. He was a finalist for the Fort Wayne Community School Teacher of the Year in 2018. And at Blackhawk Middle School, Justin replaces Dr. Virgil Griffin, who is now the Director of Student and Staff Relations. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
Vanessa Wiss, and I see her, yes, Center for Academic Success, Fort Wayne Virtual Academy principal. So Vanessa began her education career in 2007 at Smith Green Community Schools, where she taught middle school language arts and high school English. In 2014, she moved to Lakeland School Corporation, where she was an assistant principal and then principal at 2 different elementary schools. Were you there when Dr. Merkel was there? Oh, we have to talk. She became to Fort Wayne Community Schools in 2022 as a secondary language arts curriculum coordinator. She is now the Cass and Fort Wayne Virtual Academy principal. Welcome to you in this new role. Also, we have Roshonda Armstrong. It's Roshonda here. I don't see Roshonda, but again, she's director at transportation, or director of our transportation department. She has worked in transportation for a decade. She started at FWCS as a bus driver, worked for Fort Wayne Waste Company, and returned to Fort Wayne Community Schools as a manager in the transportation department. And now she's being promoted to the Director of Transportation. So welcome to all 3 of you in your new roles. Again, all current employees, but are moving into different roles, leadership positions. And as I say, principalships, they can make or break a building. So please make that building happen, right? All right. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah. Also, we wanted to point out, I don't know if it was in your comments, but we had the 4 mental health interns that are accepting roles as mental health therapists on the report
On this
one,
particular report. So
Yep.
I don't think any of them are here either. Are you? Any of you?
No.
Okay. But again, a very unique thing in Fort Wayne Community Schools.
Yep.
Again, a wonderful grant was attained, and then these apprenticeships then roll into hopefully full-time positions.
Yep.
And we have that as part of our Safer School referendum. So,
Correct.
and again, fulfilling that referendum by making sure that we're meeting the needs of our students, but also that they can also share their expertise with our staff.
Correct. And building our own pipeline.
Correct.
Yep. Great. Congratulations to all those interns being promoted to therapists, and thank you for taking permanent roles. All right. We have no old business. That leads us to new business. Yes, we voted. Okay. Steve, can you do the first item on the agenda, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's recommended the board approve the acceptance of the advancement from the School Technology Advancement Account in the amount of $571,060, and that's for the upcoming school year. The STAA provides funds annually for school systems to purchase computer technology for student instruction. We will use the money to fund learning and technology plans for our schools. The request of this amount of money is based on a guideline provided by the state, which is $500 for each 25 students. Funds are provided in the form of a loan with a very low interest rate. The last loan under this program has an interest rate of 1%. Funds will be budgeted in the debt service fund to repay this loan beginning in 2026. And Kevin Grubel, Director of Technology, is here to answer any of our questions about this.
Thanks, Steve. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Antoinette. Any questions for Kevin? No. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Antoinette, you want to do the Perkins basic grant?
It is recommended that the board approve the acceptance of the Perkins V Basic Grant for the 2024-2025 school year in the amount of $997,487. This is our annual career and technical education funding that is awarded after successful completion of the comprehensive local needs assessment process. Perkins funding will be received in July 2024 and will be utilized to support career and technical teachers for the Career Academy, AMP Lab, Fort Wayne Community Schools, comprehensive high schools, and other 3 districts within Allen County. Dr. Sandra Adams, Career Academy Principal, will be available to answer any questions.
Thank you. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Steve. Any questions for Dr. Adams?
So this is something we get based on our performance of last year?
It's, yes, it's a non-competitive grant, and there are 8 career and technical metrics that we are graded on. And this year, we fell below the recommended percentages in literacy, mathematics, science, and post-secondary placement. So in those areas, we have to write continuous improvement plans and review, and then we do the CLNA process, which is supported by many of our business partners, and then the regional economic team gives us a lot of guidance as directors, and then it is a non-competitive renewal grant.
Any other questions? Thank you, Director. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Noah, would you like to do the minutes?
Sure. As recommended, the Board of School Trustees approve the implementation of and support of the IDOE's Education Preparation Program for Fort Wayne Community Schools, Human Capital Management University Transition to Teaching Special Education Program, hereinafter referred to as the program. The actionable steps listed below are required for final approval from the State Board of Accounts. In consideration of the foregoing and the promises set forth below, Fort Wayne Community Board of School Trustees agrees as follows to the following. Approve the FWCS Employee Commitment Agreement for the Transition to Teaching Program, number 1. Number 2, approve and honor the FWCS Notice to HCMU Transition Teaching Program Special Education Candidates, hereinafter referred to as the notice. This notice will be signed by Fort Wayne Community Schools Human Capital Management University Transition Teaching Candidates, emphasizing that should the program ever be canceled by the Board of Trustees, they agree to support the completion of any current candidates. Acknowledge that the initial program approval from the IDOE is for 3 years, and FWCS will submit required documentation for reapproval of the FWCS Human Capital Management University Transition Teaching Program. Dr. Deanna Surface from HCMU is here, along with Ramona Coleman, Assistant Superintendent at HCMU, and they are here to answer questions.
Thanks, Noah. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Noah. Any questions for Dr. Surface?
No questions, but congratulations on getting the grant. That's exciting news.
So then how long does the program last typically?
For the candidates, it is 18 months.
So the first group of candidates should be able to filter through before our term expires and before we have to renew?
Yes, the only group that would be affected should, at the end of the 3 years, you decide that we don't do this anymore, or unlikely, but if they don't renew us again, only the third class in would be responsible, and it would only be for their final 6 months. So they'd still be in for the year, but then it'd be 6 months. We'd have to commit that we're going to finish the program.
But we are, as a district, we're agreeing that we're on the hook for wherever that finishing may be if not renewed within 3 years. Is that right?
I'm sorry, can you repeat again?
The district is agreeing that if the program is not renewed, we as a district are paying that cost to the candidates to finish out that final piece of the puzzle. Is that how I read that right, or no?
So we don't pay them out of cost. They'll still get their salary.
No, but to do the program, to do the transition to
Yes.
teaching.
Yes.
So if they go to some other university or college, we have to pay that.
Not if they've signed the commitment agreement, if they complete with us. If they don't complete with us, then the commitment agreement doesn't hold them for the 3 years.
But if they go through and we're not renewed at the end of 3 years, we have to continue on their education because they've signed up to do it. I guess that's where I'm confused about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for
So
the
we have
final
a
6 months.
potential burden of cost outside the district, but shouldn't
Yes.
be. Right, okay.
Yes,
And then,
unlikely,
so
but
now that we
yes.
have this, we approve this tonight, what's the next steps?
The next step is tomorrow, I submit the formal documentation from this, along with the revised applications, which I have all handy. They will be sent down to the state. They will do their official vote on July 17th. We see no reason, and I've been told by our contacts at the state that it should be just a formality, but they did want those documents that you approved tonight to have those on hand. And so then tomorrow I would send them that. They would vote on July 17th, and then on July 18th, I need to reach out to the accreditation institution, AAQE, to begin that process.
And how long do you expect that piece to take?
That piece, I have their timeline. They have it sort of scheduled out. I have it marked right here. So the first report I would have to submit is submitted by August 1st. which I've already pulled the template and everything to start filling in the pieces. I would have a virtual site visit in about January of 2025. It's 6 to 9 months, but that's what they estimated was be about January. So they would do a virtual site visit. They would want to tour our online platform, which is our HCMU platform. They would probably want to speak with some of the instructors, as well as myself and any other administrators involved, including Dr. Sprower. So that would be that step. And then within 2 to 4 months of the site visit, they do their commission decision meeting, and that will be March or May of 2025. And then after that, it would simply be between October and December 31st every year, reporting my annual report to them to maintain that accreditation.
So if I'm someone interested in this program today, when is the earliest I could start?
The state wants to have their final vote official before we start advertising or anything, so we have to wait till after July 17th. So as of July 18th, as long as nothing surprising happens, then on July 18th, we are go ahead with start pulling. We do have a lot of interested parties, so that would be the day we could officially start reaching out to some people. But they don't want us to do anything officially until that.
That's great.
And the first cohort has a special emphasis with special education, correct?
Yes, the only program that they have approved at this time is for special ed. We still need to submit the elementary, secondary, and workplace specialist, which the workplace specialist, career specialist will be tied into the secondary because it's all the same pieces. So they will be a part of that, but with a slightly different code because they would technically be going for a different license. Those applications, our original hope was by August. I don't think that's realistic. But I do plan to have those applications ready to be submitted by February, this coming February 1st, which is the next time.
Okay.
So that would start the following fall if we got approved, just like we are this year.
Okay. So fall of 26.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, if someone's interested in that piece of the puzzle, how long, I mean, I know we gotta go through approval and all that, what's your crystal ball tell you about that piece? Of just the transition to teaching period to the secondary, elementary, or middle?
You mean how long the program will take?
To get approval to be able to start accepting candidates?
It should be a slightly faster timeline than last time, solely because we already now have, there were 2 applications. One is just to be an EPP provider, and that we don't have to redo again. That says that we're good to offer these programs. Then you just have to have the individual programs. So for the 2 applications, the really big one I had to do, I don't have to do that one again, which is nice. I can literally resubmit the same one. They confirmed that with me. So it's just a matter of, at this point, working on the curriculum, which I have been doing this summer on some elementary and secondary curriculum. The one sort of stick in the wheel is that with the new literacy endorsement requirements, the state's plan is they're going to evaluate all of their statewide teacher prep programs this year and kind of look at what they're doing. And then they're going to provide us guidelines on what we need to do moving forward. So we can't really plan too much ahead because they don't have guidelines for us yet. So we're going to be planning those with the expectation that the elementary teachers are going to need that really big piece there. We're just not sure how that's going to look until they come up with more guidelines for us.
Well, this is exciting. Thank you so much for your efforts.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Oh, that's a document that we're going to sign. Here we go. Okay. It is recommended that the board appoint Jennifer Mathias to serve on the City of Fort Wayne Redevelopment Commission. Ms. Mathias is replacing Raleigh Booker, who resigned from the board effective May 20th, 2024. The Redevelopment Commission consists of 5 voting members appointed by the mayor and the Common Council of the City of Fort Wayne, and 1 non-voting member appointed by the Fort Wayne Community Schools Board of School Trustees. Ms. Mathias has been on the school board since January of 2021 and has agreed to serve on the Redevelopment Commission. She will serve a 2-year term and thereafter until a successor is appointed. Is there a motion on the floor?
I'll move.
Second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Noah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. The board will conduct a second public hearing regarding the financing of a possible 24-25 district-wide equipment and facility improvement project. with general obligations bonds and/or building corporation property tax first mortgage bonds. Notice of the public hearing was published in the Journal Gazette on May 31st, 2024. The first hearing was held on June 10th, 2024. The maximum principal amount of bonds to be issued to finance the project will be no more than $55,650,000. The project will include, but is not limited to, all or any portion of certain upgrades, updates, improvements, and renovations throughout the FWCS district, including improvements to all or any portions of certain outdoor physical education, extracurricular, co-curricular facilities, including all or any portion of the Snyder and Northside athletic facilities and the Helen P. Brown Natatorium at Southside High School, renovations of the Greil Administration Center and the Wendy Y. Robinson Family and Community Engagement Center, including but not limited to restrooms, conference areas, and offices, the acquisition and installation of new district-wide time clock system, the replacement and/or installation of new heating and air conditioning systems and related equipment, certain projects at Amp Lab at Electric Works, acquisition of equipment to be used in Fort Wayne Community Schools, co-curricular and/or extracurricular activities, and miscellaneous facility improvements and/or equipping projects at one or more facilities operated by Fort Wayne Community Schools. Rosie Shipman, Chief Financial Officer, will make a presentation regarding the project. Upon conclusion of the presentation, all interested parties are entitled and encouraged to present their testimony and ask questions regarding the project and/or bonds.
President Norman, the information that I would present tonight has not changed from the first hearing, June 10th. It is viewable on our public website. Would you like me to present again?
I appreciate your willingness to present. However, we will use this time to take public comment.
Okay.
We would have alternated between supporting commenters in support of and any commenters that were in opposition, so that we had a fair consensus of comments. However, we only have 2 people signed up for comments, and since we allotted 30 minutes for comments, if there's anyone else that didn't sign up, we'd be willing to entertain those as well. But first on the list that signed up to comment is Kurt Tippman. Hello, Kurt.
Hi.
Hello.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
We're a beautiful Monday night. First of all, thank you for giving us this opportunity. I'm speaking on behalf of an employee of the district, a teacher, a coach, a parent, and a resident, kind of fill all those roles.
And alumni.
Been fortunate, say again?
And alumni.
And an alum, that's correct. Class of 1990. Going back, been fortunate to be a part of a district-wide effort to try and study the athletic endeavors of Fort Wayne Community Schools. I think this started maybe before COVID, so it's been a long process and many, many, many meetings. And in those meetings, assessments, studies, research, and proposals as to how do we create a better Fort Wayne Community School athletic offering across the board in everything that we do. Fort Wayne Community Schools has always stood for striving for excellence in everything that we do, and certainly in how we educate students, but also in the things that we offer that support the educational process, that being co-curriculars. And with this proposed proposal as being part of the facility improvements, great effort by Darren Hess and his team, and Rosie and her research. It's been a very thorough study of it, and on behalf of the Snyder people, this would be something that has been missing from our athletic department for 59 years. We've played football, soccer, had band for 59 years, but yet have never hosted a band competition on our facilities. Years ago, we used to host a very tremendous band competition, but it had to be moved to an off-site. Had to do it at Northrop. And then for several years, we did it at Wayne. But how cool would that be to have it actually hosted on our site. Our soccer program has never played a home soccer game. And I'm not saying that that has anything to do with wins and losses, but it does have something to do with enhancing the experience that the students have as they participate in all those sports, football being one of those as well. I think we're the only public high school in the state that doesn't play any home games on site. There's some private schools that don't have a home field, but we might be the only public school that does not. So I think it would enhance the experience of our student athletes and affect multiple groups of athletes and students in the school that would serve them very well. So appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So, hold on. So this facility would also be used for football? I heard you talk about soccer and marching band, but it would also be used for football?
PE, football, soccer. I mean, the beauty of it is the use of multiple groups. Baseball, softball.
And you're speaking in support of this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't hear that. I just want to make sure.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt. Next up on the list is Laura Ulsh, who's a current parent.
Good evening. I'm here to speak on support of the Snyder Stadium particularly. I am the president of Snyder Performing Arts Boosters. We run concessions. We run a lot. As Kurt said, we do try to host as many opportunities for our students as possible. We have hosted band competitions, as he said, at Northrop and Wayne, and even at St. Francis, due to the lack of a home stadium. At this point, for marching band, you cannot host a competition unless it's on turf. No one will come. You can try, but they won't come. I look forward to partnering more with the athletic boosters. They already support us on a lot of other activities for our winter guard and our dance. I also look at it as a parent that it's more of school spirit, school community when you can talk about having your own facilities. Yes, we call it Spuler Stadium, but in the span of thing, most people will call it Northrop's, and that we're just there to visit. But we do have a tremendous football team who has won many state championships. And this year, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, their first opening game is at Wayne High School because we cannot play at our home field, which is Spuler, and we can't play at Bowser Field, which is on the campus of Snyder because it's not feasible. So, as a Snyder board, we talked about it, and we all feel that this is very important for Snyder to have its own stadium to be used for multiple areas, not just football, but as he spoke, it's going to be also included for track and to host spirit times that used to be called PEP, where we would go and support. Right now, not all the parents can sit in the stadiums and do that for our fall sports. And it's kind of sad to see parents having to stand on the sidelines and not be able to be in the stands with the rest of them. So, thank you.
Ms. Walsh, as
Yes.
a parent of multiple band participants at Snyder, what do you think this would mean to your kids and the kids that participate in band with them?
Well, I have spoken with my son Luke, who really wanted to be here tonight to speak, but he is at a camp for drum majors. He talked about how, just the getting on the buses takes down morale, that they have to get on a bus to go to the home field. And, then they get, plus the amount of volunteers it takes for us to move the band. So we have a semi-trailer that goes with us, and we probably have about 15 parents who actually help load the kids, load the equipment, unload it when we get there, and then half of us go into concessions and work concessions to raise the funds so that we can have a proactive performing arts, because we do all of them. We do dance, choir, theater, all of orchestra. That's us, all of us. So we talk about, just knowing that that's there. It's like he was sitting in the car yesterday at Snyder's, to stop to look at the trailer or something. And he goes, just think, when I leave Snyder, they'll have a beautiful stadium over there because he's a junior. And he's like, it would be so nice that the next generation, we can start telling them, you just have to walk across the parking lot and be able to go to your performance. And they look at it as, yes, it's a football game, but they perform at halftime, so it's a little bit of football, and then it's their show. And then there's a little bit more football that goes after, and then they get to play the school song at the end. So we look at it slightly different. We go for a band, we don't go for the football, even though my dad was a football coach, so I'm all into football. But like there's an effort of community spirit, that having your own stadium and knowing it's yours, and being able to put, like, you walk around other schools and they can put in like the go here. Like when we hang up our senior banners, we have to take them down because the next week or the next day somebody else is there. And when we go to decal, every single time we go, we walk past the banners for seniors. So it's the football team, they have all the fall sports like tennis, they have the marching band, and they're like, wow, look, they get to leave theirs up and we have to take ours down because it's at Northrop. And you know, our parents like they run over, they try to hang them up before they get there, so when they walk in they see them. But I'm sure the football team and the tennis team feel the same way, that they don't get that amount of school spirit just because we go, we do the best we can, and then we leave, we pack up, and we come back to the cider area. So.
Thank you, Coach Tippmann. If you don't mind coming back, same question for you. What would this mean to you as a former player, alumni, coach, and also to your student athletes at Snyder High School?
I had a chance to be around alumni players Friday. We had a fundraising golf outing, and we had players back from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, and the 2000 teens. And you know, certainly it's a long-standing tradition in our football program of the continuity of the way things operate, and so there's a lot of commonality among those groups of players, and a sense of pride just with the discussion of it as a possibility. I mean, it was, you could feel the energy that whole day, and lots of excitement about it. It's something that we've never done. We've never played a home game. And, you know, like Laura brought up this year in the playoffs, we got, you know, everybody waits for the draw, and we got our draw, we saw who we were playing. Oh, we get to play at home. Well, Northrop got to play at home too, and so Northrop said, you guys are going to play somewhere else. And so we had to go play our first home game out at Wayne. And, you know, it's familiar territory, but it's just not the same as playing at home. And so many groups of former players, you know, are excited about this possibility because of what the program has meant to them over time and how cool it would be to have something that they could call home.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, are there any other speakers? Okay, as no one else wishes to speak, the hearing is now closed. The board will now take a vote to approve the adoption of the 1028 preliminary determination reimbursement resolution. Do we have a motion?
Move we approve.
Second.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Ann and Steve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And that brings us to the end of our agenda. So that brings us to board member comments.
Yes. I was in Indianapolis this morning for a meeting of the Partnership Pentagon, which was created by the Commission for Higher Education and Commissioner Chris Lowry. I was one of 50 members of this group. The Pentagon represents 5 partners that were involved in this process: business, education, government, nonprofits, and philanthropy. And the work of the partnership was driven by, and I'm going to read this, by the HOPE agenda, which talks about Hoosier opportunities and possibilities through education. There is a preliminary report that is out and will be discussed at the commission's next meeting in July. But it was an interesting process, and we had several representatives from Fort Wayne there. Scott Glaze from Fort Wayne Metals, Evan Wood, who's the HR director, the former lead person for Lincoln National Life, and representatives from Purdue Fort Wayne. There were some pretty influential people in the room that participated. Pam Whitten, the IU president, was there, the new president for Indiana State University, and great conversation. So the work is hopefully going to focus on several goals, and let me just run through this is the HOPE agenda: post-high school training and education, going rates for youth and adults, post-secondary attainment levels for veterans and individuals with disabilities, taking a look at the utilization of credit for prior learning, retaining talent, measurable distinction in economic and social mobility and prosperity outcomes, and recognized state for growing, that Indiana will be recognized as a state for growing or starting businesses. So I think it's exciting because as we begin to take a look at changing graduation requirements for our students and other students in the state, it's really going to be important to see what that connection is. One of the things that we talked about was helping our state legislators understand what other states are doing, and that other states that were once at the same level have moved past us. And we're never going to grow. The economic vitality of families and businesses will not grow if this state does not make that commitment. So I thought it was a great process. It started last year in April and concluded today, but the handoff now is to the commission to move this work forward. So I was glad to be a part of it and really represent Fort Wayne Community Schools at the table.
Thanks, Steve. Antoinette, any comments?
No.
Okay. Noah?
I want to thank this board, thank Dr. Daniels, Rosie Shipman, and Heather Krebs, and Kathy Friend, who retired as CFO. You know, you guys, there's a lot of pride, as Coach Shipman said, of being a former Snyder football player, which I am one. There's a lot of pride in that camaraderie and that group of people, and I think you're going to see that go up a notch. I don't know if that's possible, but I think you will with the inclusion of the stadium. As a Snyder parent, I thank you all again for the experiences I had to deal with for my daughter, who was very well coached by Ms. Shipman's own daughter, Gabby, a former Snyder soccer player. Great programming. As Kurt said, wins and losses don't add up to where you are. But I can tell you unequivocally, and I felt bad for Coach Shipman, she never knew night to night where we were practicing. We didn't always know game schedule where we were playing, because we were playing between the Plex out at IPFW, and while I was very frustrated as a parent, they do have the best fields, but that's because they move them around all the time and they reassign you at a moment's notice. And we went back and forth between there and Krieger. Now I understand they're still probably at Krieger, which is a nice environment, but there's nothing like for a 14 to 18-year-old girl playing soccer amongst her friends when the football team can walk right next door and come see them. That was a common complaint I heard amongst my daughter and her peers is, those guys never come to see us play, we're always at the football games. So it is more than about football. Football gets the headline, but all these other, the band, the soccer teams, the gym classes will all benefit. So thank you for making this happen. That's it.
Ann?
I believe this is the third week of the Peacemaker Academy. They have 60-some students they are training this summer to be our peacemakers in our 5 high schools. And I had the opportunity to join them 3 different days. And it's just an amazing program. I was just so impressed with everything that I saw, just with the organization, just with the packed curriculum, just how much work they put into developing this curriculum, and just the topics they touched on. I'm sure these kids are just having a whirlwind of different emotions. There was one, the last day I was there were two women who were guest speakers who both of them had, one had a son who died from gun violence, and then the other had a son and a grandson, the son of her son, who also died from gun violence. And, you know, I think the whole room was just in tears listening to these stories of these women. So I think this is such an impactful program, just doing wonderful things for our kids who will then, what they learn these 3 weeks, they will then bring to their peers at their schools and make a difference for our kids. So just wanted to give a shout out to our the Alive community and our Peacemaker Academy and congratulate them on a job well done.
Thanks, Ann. Dr. Daniel?
So just a couple things. First of all, this week and next week, we have a moratorium on meetings, so we've tried to tell the principals and the teachers, enjoy yourselves. You need to take a couple weeks. So thank you for being here tonight, Chad, Zimbo, but enjoy your next 2 weeks. Also, I'd love to hear some more of that conversation because I do have a meeting on Monday with Representative Baining with a few other superintendents in regards to the new diploma. So I know there are some changes that are happening already to the GPS Plus diploma. That will not come forward until July, but I would love to hear how it's connected to, we have to do something different because the results are not what we want them to be in our state. And quite frankly, we also see that in our post-secondary institutions. So the graduation rates, the attainment of degrees, what are we going to do differently in that space? So Steve, I'd love to have a conversation with you before Monday if possible.
Okay, yep,
All right.
got it.
Love that. Okay. Well, on behalf of the board, and I know Jennifer and Julie couldn't be here tonight, we want to welcome our new member, Antoinette Payne. We're excited to have you on the board and excited to get to know you better and have you join our bunch of cheerleaders for public education. So you get your uniform later. I was able to attend the opening and preview at Levon Scott, and that was just a really great space. And it was a really nice event. They provided meals for community members and the people working. Dr. Joe Brown bought everybody Kona Ice. Rosie bought everybody Kona Ice. Thanks, Rosie. It was good. So yeah, it's just a beautiful space. And all of our outlying offices were there. So transportation was there and family and community engagement were there. And so just always nice to see everyone out and supporting all of the new things and all of the amazing facilities. Thanks, Darren, to you and your team for that project. I do just want to share with everyone, I did get only one negative comment, or I guess a comment in opposition of the Snyder football stadium. And as a result, anytime I saw anyone that was a Fort Wayne community member, I asked them, hey, what do you think about the Snyder Stadium? And luckily, everyone that I spoke to was in favor of it. And so I do take those comments to heart, and I do actually keep track of them. And as much as I can, I do talk with people in our community about decisions that we make as a board. And so as representatives of the constituents of Fort Wayne, I want to make sure that I am representing what the majority of our voters would want us to do say how they would like us to vote. So I just want to thank everybody for being open to having those conversations. I attacked people, well, not attack them. I approached people at basketball games, all kinds of meetings that I was at. So I got a very wide range of people in the community that were in support of Snyder Stadium and the football team and the band and the music program there. So as everyone mentioned, it's going to get a lot of use, and I know that as a board we're all really excited. The legacy of Snyder football speaks for itself, and while I will always be an Elmhurst Trojan, I do have a Snyder Panther on my water bottle. So to which my niece who's at Wayne was like, why? But proud of all of our FWCS schools and programs. So I believe that is all of my comments with regard to FWCS facilities and things like that. I did just want to take a moment as well. I know that Mayor Tucker just had a live announcement, so I don't know what she said. But the situation that happened on Saturday night with Lizelle, is it Pram, I believe? He was a 2020 graduate of Southside High School. And so just thoughts and prayers go out to his family. And I just want to echo what Mayor Tucker said, in that we need to come together as a community and support one another. I know that this situation is something that happens all over our country. And I don't want to see our community fall apart. I would love to see us come together and get through this situation with love and empathy and compassion. My husband actually knew Linzell, and I think the thing that touched me the most was he said, when I describe Linzell, I would use all the adjectives that I used to describe Elijah, our son. And so in that moment, I thought that this young man could have been my son. I mean, if he possessed all the qualities of him. And so it just hits closer to home. And I know that everyone always says it doesn't really affect you until it's somebody you know. And I just want to take a moment, because I know all of us know a young black man. It could be your neighbor, somebody you employ, your student, your son, anybody, a student in your classroom. And I just think that we all need to be together in a united front when it comes to situations like this. And when you think that it may not affect you because it's not your family member, as a community, we are a family. We're the Fort Wayne family, and we need to take care of everyone. While I'm only the mom to one young black man in our community, I do feel a responsibility to take care of all of the children in our community, and I know that a lot of our staff feel that way as well, and I know that they do their jobs for the love of the children in our community, and we want to all keep them safe. So I just want to keep that family in our thoughts and prayers, because I can't even imagine what they're going through right now. And again, I just hope as a community we can get through this situation together. So, thank you for allowing me that time. Okay, on a lighter note, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move with adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thanks.
Way to go, Rosie. Survived from that one.